Hello! In this video, I'll be showing you how I made my Furby with LEDs in the tummy and clear plastic vinyl on the front. Here's a list of materials that I used: sewing machine, pins, measuring tape, scissors, craft knife, pet brush, and tape because I'll be using long fur, Velcro, pattern by Boots with the Furb, wire, scrap fabric, faux fur, 8mm vinyl, battery operated LEDs, polyfill, 3-foot armature spine, and also a 3D printed faceplate, paint, and other glue. Start by taking your pattern pieces and laying them out on your fur. Be sure to note the direction of your fur before cutting anything out. You will need to make two of both your front side pieces and your back side pieces. Make sure to flip the pattern around so that they come out as a mirror image. When getting ready to sew pieces together, especially when working with long fur, I like to use a brush to push the hair away from the seam that I intend to make, and I also tape down the fur so that it doesn't get in the way while I sew. I'm going to start by joining the center back piece to the back side piece. And here you can see how well the tape works in making a very clean seam despite the very long fur that I was working with. Now I'm going to attach the other back side piece to the other side of the center back. Set that piece aside for now, and we're going to work on the front. For a normal long Furby, you would attach the two front side pieces together like so. However, since I'm planning to use vinyl for the belly portion, having this cut out at the top was really inconvenient, so I ended up covering it up with more of the same colored fur. Before attaching the front side to the back side, I'm first going to make some ears. The pattern by Boots with the Furb does come with a set of ears, however, I decided to make my own ear pattern by simply sizing up the template I was provided. Make sure you sew the ears with the right sides of the fur facing together and leaving the bottom open so that you can turn them right sides out. Do the same thing for the other ear, but make sure that the pieces are mirrored. Then you can sew the front and back sides together with the right sides facing in and the ears trapped to the inside. And that's it for the head. It's already looking really cute. Next up is the lengthening process. Start by figuring out the width and length of the main body piece as well as the dimensions for the belly piece. Once you've cut out the body piece, you'll need to make a belly piece. For a regular long Furby, you can use any sort of contrasting color for this, but I decided to use 8mm vinyl so that you could see the internal stuffing and hopefully emphasize the glowing effect later. When sewing with vinyl, you'll want to avoid using pins because any holes you make will be permanent. You'll also want to increase the stitch length on your machine when working with vinyl so that the seams are stronger and less likely to tear. When attaching the head to the body, make sure you sew with the right sides facing together. When turning the body right side out, make sure to do so slowly so that the vinyl doesn't tear. Now for the bottom half of the Furby. I only wanted the top half to have a clear vinyl tummy, so when I'm measuring for the bottom half, I'm measuring the entire circumference and cutting out a piece of fur to make a tube the same size as the rest of the body. Now it's time to make room for the LEDs. It's important that they are LEDs so that they don't generate any excess heat that could melt the synthetic fabrics. I'm going to use some scrap fabric that I had lying around in order to make a pouch for the battery pack to sit in. I'm adding Velcro to the top of the pouch. This Velcro has adhesive backing so that no sewing will be required to attach it to this fabric. Sew along the edges of the pouch you've made, making sure to leave the top ½ inch sewn because that's what you'll use to attach to the Furby body. Start by sewing one side of the pouch you've made to the Furby body on what will become the inside of the Furby. Turn the lower half of the Furby body right sides out so that you can more easily sew together the right sides of the top and bottom half of the Furby. When joining the top and the bottom half of the Furby, it's important that you don't sew together the whole pouch. Instead, fold over the part that's already been sewn to the lower half of the Furby and only attach the unsewn edge of the pouch. You can then sew together the rest of the top and the bottom half normally. Here you can see where the battery pack will be accessible on the back side of the Furby where it's less visible. Now it's time to add the lights. In order for the string lights to sit inside of the Furby, you'll have to cut a small hole on the inside of the pouch. Carefully thread the string lights through the opening you made in the side of the pouch. Once the lights are in place, it's not a bad idea to fray check the hole you cut in the side of the pouch, especially if you're using a fabric that frays a lot like I did. Because of the long fur, the pouch is completely disguised. Now that the body is your desired length, it's time to make a butt. I simply measured the circumference of the body and traced a circle of the same size. Make sure to only sew half of it on so that you can still access the inside and have enough room to stuff it. Now it's time to paint the faceplate. This is an opportunity for you to really let the personality of your Furby shine through. I decided to paint my face in the same colors as the fur and the contrasting ears. Don't forget to add sparkles and lots of freckles. To help the faceplate adhere really well to the fur, I traced out some spare felt and glued it to the back of the faceplate. I like to mount my faceplates directly to the spine on the inside of the Furby. In order to do so, I need to cut a small hole that will eventually be covered by the faceplate itself. Next, I'm going to add some wires to the back of the faceplate with a strip of felt for extra support. Twist the wires around the top of the spine to secure it. Now you can simply slide the spine and the felt back inside of the Furby so that only the faceplate is on the exterior. Glue down the edges of the faceplate to the fur to keep it in place. Here you can see I added another strip of felt to the back of the head for even more support. Now you can begin stuffing the Furby. Make sure to go slow, keeping the spine in the very center of the Furby, and if you're adding lights, try to disperse them as evenly as you can. We're nearly done. Once your long boy is as plump as you'd like, sew the bottom shut with hand stitches. I painted my eyes onto a piece of paper and then glued the eye chips on top. Then I'm going to use tacky glue to keep the eyes in place. Add some fake eyelashes to your Furby and any other finishing touches, and now your long boy is done. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll try to get back to you. Sweet dreams!